What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Seven Figure Photographer Live. And it is a beautiful, beautiful Monday out. I hope you guys are having a great week already. Obviously, it's the start to the week. It's early, but I love Mondays. I actually took my son to school today, and I asked him, I was like, do you like Mondays? And he said, not really, Dad. What about you? And I was like, I actually love Mondays. I love new start to the week. And so, and I'm excited about today's topic because today's topic is really kind of like December every year kind of comes down to a lot of reflection, looking at what I've done over the past year, what I can change to do better for next year. And that's really what we're going to talk about today. So I hope you guys are ready for this. Let me get stuff queued up for my intro. We are doing a live on Instagram as well. And so this is kind of a new thing for me. I might be some communication between both, but ultimately my focus is here on YouTube. So without further ado, let's get a quick intro. What's up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Marvin, and I have been in the photography industry for 25 plus years. While I love being a creative, business is my passion, and elevating the industry of photography is my focus. I created the Seven Figure Photographer to share my journey to seven figures and to help others find their way too.
Amazing.
Okay, we are back. And like I said, I'm excited about today's topic. Today's topic is obviously, as you saw, the entrepreneur's roadmap, business planning and goals for 2024. And I got some great stuff for you today. Again, this one's kind of a little bit longer, but I'm going to try to shorten it down because last week I got a little long-winded and took it a little longer than I expected. So for those of you who are here hanging out with us, Annie, welcome. Make sure to comment, let us know that you're hanging out with us and where you're watching from. And if you do have questions, make sure to run your questions through the chat section. If you have open, it says open in app. That is actually, you're going to want to click on that button and open it into the app because in order for you to be able to comment or ask any questions, you're going to be able to need to do that. Now, for those of you who are watching on Instagram, you can comment. If I can see your questions, I'll answer them. If not, jump over to the Seven Figure Photographer on YouTube, and you can see that there. You can log into the chat and get any of your questions answered there as well. So ultimately, I got a few things that I want to talk about today with the goals and planning for 2024. And I think that it's kind of a redundant thing. I've gone through this like 100 times. Like we do it every year. In fact, I kind of did a different version of it already this year. But there's a couple of things that I want to kind of go into and a couple of things I want to share with you that I think help outline more or less what we need for 2024, how to identify what we need to change, and all those things. So ultimately, our first and foremost aspect of this is right now is a time of reflection. So it's a great time to really look back over the year and see what we've done, what we did well, what we did poorly, what we can improve, all those things. Now, the one thing that I don't want you to find yourself in is every year waiting until this time to really reflect on your year and reacting instead of being proactive with your business. Because ultimately, you want to make sure to proactively set these goals and set, what is the word? Probably like kind of break your goals up so that you can focus on smaller pieces, shorter sections, or shorter time frames of your goals and how you can achieve them. So ultimately, like I said, I want you to really kind of sit back and maybe even make a list of the things that for your 2023, the things you've done well, the things that you'd like to do better, the problems you had, the successes you had, and all those things. Sorry, I saw a message and I wasn't sure. And he said, set your intentions. Okay, I wasn't sure if maybe she was telling me my audio wasn't on. So also just analyzing what strategies work. Like if you're working on social media, If you're working on leads or automations, like what things did you spend your time on or focus on for your business in 2023 that worked or didn't work? Obviously, that whole concept, overall, the whole reflection aspect is what this is about. So what can we do to look at our past performance? What sold? What things sold in your sales sessions? What things didn't sell? If they didn't sell, either figure out a new way to approach it or eliminate that product because maybe it just adds to confusion. If it's one of those things that you use product-wise that you can kind of bring clients into if things aren't going well in the sale, like just look at those things and kind of analyze what those things, like how they can be, how they can be improved. Campaigns. So marketing, advertising, any of those campaigns that you've run, what are the things that you could do better, or what are the campaigns that you want to run for the year? This is one of the hardest things for me, especially, is identifying like what are the times of the year that I want to run specific campaigns. What campaigns do I have, and do we have it really written down in something that we have a focus so that we can make sure that those things are implemented? I can't tell you how often we write goals down in the beginning of the year, and we go into the new year just like pumped and ready to knock the world off its rocker, whatever, and we get into it, and then we really don't even look at any of our goals until the end of the year, and we realize, crap, I missed out on a lot of things. So, and then what are your workflows? Like, are your workflows and your processes or systems really a lot to blame for the stuff that is like the past performance of your business? So those are all things that are valid, important things that you should really consider. There's even more of them. I just wanted to kind of touch on a couple of things that you can kind of start to make a list. Like just make a list of things that you want to look at, that you want to reflect on. I like these things, and I like to kind of make my list. And when I'm driving in the car or I'm doing things by myself or whatever, this time of year I do a lot of travel, and so those are the things that I like to really kind of contemplate. I like to think about and figure out what I can do better. Now, if you're not even sure like where to start, if you haven't had a chance to do your BES score, which is, in fact, I will actually add the link for the BES score right in here. Let me see if I can get back to the right spot. Okay. If you haven't done your BES score, now is a great time to do it. It takes about probably 5-7 minutes to do it. There's a link right there in the chat. And the BES score is going to just take your input and evaluate your business based on those things, whether it's financial, it's operational, is it, there's 8 different categories that it's going to really kind of evaluate based on your answers, and it's going to give you an overall score back and an evaluation of what you can do to change. So that's a great thing to start with for the year. That's one of those things that I always suggest, like reevaluate, see, because it gives you a percentage score. So most people are right around that 60 to 80% business efficiency score. And so it gives you something to really look at and determine, okay, you know, if I check this again in 6 months, where am I at? It's completely free. There's no obligation, nothing to it. I will help you with it if you need. Basically, you go and you do the score, and I'll evaluate it with you and go over that with you. So, okay, so next is understanding market trends. Now, obviously, we are in a time where things are kind of crazy right now. There's a lot of talk about, like, are people cutting back? Is inflation out of control still? Is it dropping? Are people spending money? What's going to happen? Now, overall, like, interestingly, like I'm going to give you kind of a couple of different ways to look at this, but ChatGPT is a great one to be able to look at like the current trends or even get some information on what trends to look at. Also, Google Trends. If you jump into Google Trends, you can actually type in. Let me see if I can actually share this one over for you. Let's see if I go to. I have Google Trends open somewhere here, and so if I switch this over on 5, there we go. Okay, so here you can kind of see the Google Trends. This is just trends.google.com. and you can actually come in here and you can change. You can pick a word. So, like for instance, senior pictures. This one always intrigues me, and this really is just like what people have searched in web search. You can actually look up YouTube search, all the different things. And I like to actually go back and look at like the farthest range, 2004 to present. And you can see like when the most common time is that people search that, but you can see the overall trend for how things are working. So use this to your advantage. You can compare it to, like, say, for instance, senior portraits. And let's even add in there graduation pictures. So if you guys are watching on Instagram, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see these trends, but you can check them out by going to Google or trends.google.com. If you get a chance and you want to hop over to the YouTube channel, the YouTube channel shows this information here, or you can rewatch the video. But this kind of shows you like the different things. So for instance, senior pictures is actually the highest searched, and it's really good information ultimately, because you can see like for keywording and stuff like that, what do you need to use instead of, a lot of people, a lot of coaches and educators teach this whole concept of use the words, use the fancy words, those different things. But the reality is you want to use the words in your SEO and in any of those things that are going to resonate with the people that are actually looking for it, not the people that are telling you that you want to use fancy words so that you fall into that boutique or that high affluent category with your clients. So those are just kind of things. Google Trends is great for that. If you want to just kind of search all those different things, you could go to Google, you can search keywords or search senior pictures and see the other things that people are searching and use those in Google Trends. But, there's the other thing that you can do that has nothing to do with like Google Trends is really just taking the time to go on to kind of go on a little journey of seeing what people are doing. Like look at, what trends as far as the style of photography are working. What are our kids saying? What are other photographers saying? Just do your market research and see what is the projection going forward. And if, for instance, if you're planning to make a big change in 2024, make sure you consider, is it going completely opposite of the trend? Is it something that you're going to have to work really hard to build? Or what are the things that might impact your business if you make that decision? And so really do your research before you really jump into something new, so that you understand what the trends in the market are. And then just obviously there's a lot of things that you can learn from going to conferences, conventions, whatever, just taking classes to see what people are doing. I know looking at really kind of the, what's the word? Like your, what is it? I can't think of but basically like your Generation X, Y, all those different things, and see what the trends are, because you could search those trends and see more or less what those people are doing and how they're doing things, how they're not doing things, and those things. So that's a really good thing to understand and to be able to research in your business as well when you're planning and kind of looking at your upcoming year. So next is just the goal setting, and I've talked about this 100 times, maybe even 1,000 times. I don't know. But goal setting is important in so many different ways. But the one thing that I always try to hit home with you guys about is make sure that you're setting SMART goals. And when I say SMART goals, I'm talking about, are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they achievable? And are they relevant to your business? And so setting SMART goals, just the SMART, and time bound. Sorry, I forgot the T. I'm just like Homer Simpson. SMAR. So are they measurable goals? That's kind of my favorite part of it. Can you measure those things? And that's kind of what we're going to get into next with the goal setting. I think that it's really important, and I think that a lot of photographers miss out on this. I think that this is where our businesses become incredibly reactive instead of proactive. And that's the concept of, at the end of the year now, we're looking at, okay, well, my business did, $100,000 in sales, or I made $100,000 in my pocket, but I really wanted to make, $200,000. And so what do I need to do? Or how do I set this goal? How do I achieve the goal? And so ultimately, the biggest, most important thing here is break it down. Like, understand, like, what is it going to take to get to that goal? And maybe the goal you're setting is not necessarily the right goal, but let's start from the setting of your goal. So let's just say that your goal is to make $200,000, and we're just saying net sales, or gross sales actually, for next year, just gross sales. And let's say that your goal is $200,000 or $100,000 or $50,000. I don't care what it is. It's not bad. It's for you. And that's all that matters, really. So ultimately, if I'm just going to use some math. I did some math ahead of time because you guys all know that I get stupid when I try to do math on here. But let's just say that your goal for 2024 is $200,000 in gross sales. Okay. So what is it going to take to get to that goal, and how many sessions are you willing to photograph to get to that goal? Well, if your goal is to photograph 50 sessions, then that is an average of $4,000 per session. Now, where is that in compared to where you're at right now? If you have some idea of where you're at with your session average, then it gives you some good idea of what you need to do. So let's say that your session average is $2,000, and in order to get to $200,000 in gross sales, you would need to shoot 50 sessions at $4,000 average, which is a $2,000 difference. What is it going to take to increase by 200%? I believe that would be the right percentage, but increase your business by 200%. And that might be a big challenge. Maybe it's good to take those numbers and really kind of dumb them down a little bit. Not dumb them down, but just kind of make them a little bit more realistic, or figure out what can I change in my sales to increase by 100%. Or I don't know that part. I told you, this is the math part is what messes me up when I do this. So let's say, for instance, you're close, you're $3,600, and you know that you just have to change your average by $400. You can really look at the different things that you can do to adjust that. And those are the things that can kind of help you determine what your goals need to be for the year. Now, if we're right on and we know that we want to shoot 50 sessions, maybe it's that we need to shoot 60 sessions just to kind of bring that number down a little bit. Again, I'm not going to try to do the math because I'll make myself look dumb. But how many leads do you need to get to 50 sessions a year? And a good rule of thumb, I would suggest, unless you really, really know what your closing rate is, or your conversion rate for leads. If you get one lead and you book that one lead and you're 100% conversion rate, then great, you only need 50 leads. But let's just say you're a 25% conversion rate. That means that you would actually need to get 200 leads to close 50 sessions. Okay, maybe you're 50% and you just need to get 100 leads to close 50 sessions. Whatever it is, that's what you need to identify and you need to focus on, because your leads are then going to become your KPI. I need to figure out how to get this many leads so that I can generate this many sessions, so that I can, hit my average and hit my goals. And so we're kind of we're breaking it down from the top, and we're narrowing it down to what are my important factors going to be, and that's how many leads I'm getting. So if we go by 25%, ultimately we're trying to get 200 leads. If we divide that 200 leads up by 12 months, that means that I would need to get 17 leads a month. Now, this is great information because ultimately that's our goal, 17 leads a month. Now, maybe there's certain times of the year that you're not going to get as many, but still, we're just going to even it out. We're going to look at maybe quarter one. We're going to go 17 leads times 4, and I did it again. The math is not going to work for me, but 15, 30, 60, let's see, that'd be 68. So Did I do that right? 17 times 4, 68. Yeah, that should be correct. So that's what you would want to focus on for that first quarter. And then it's just really all about what do I do? Oh, yeah, it's times 3. Thank you, Annie. So 45, 47, 49, 51 leads. So there you go. This is why I don't math online, even though I do it every time. So then we have our 200 leads divided by 17, or divided by 12 equals 17. If we go by quarter, it's 17 times 3, and that kind of gives us our quarter. So again, the idea here, we're setting our goals, we're making sure that they're measurable. This is the way that we can make them measurable, by determining what our KPIs are. And our KPIs can be something like how many leads we get, how many phone calls. There's lots of different things that your KPIs can be, and they're really up to you, but ultimately determine what is going to help move your business forward. So that's where we're starting with our idea of, okay, I need to grow my business and this is how I'm going to do it, and I want to make this much money. That's a great goal, but if you don't have any sort of direction or breakdown on how to get to that goal, it's really going to be just overwhelming and not beneficial for your business. So moving on to the next part, and this is all going to kind of come together. Really just the strategic, I got to take a drink. I'm getting a dry mouth, and probably Diet Coke doesn't help. But so strategic planning for your business growth, and that's kind of what we were talking about, the KPIs and breaking down your goals, and just kind of developing strategic or effective strategies for your business for how to get to those certain and specific things. Now, obviously, as photographers, like I said, we have a very kind of up and down or seasonal aspects to our business. But the other thing is that it is really important that you make, and it's okay to go through and list out your goals and make them lofty and crazy, but then go through the list and look at it and identify what's realistic. What can you really, truly do with those goals? And are you going to set so many goals that it's not going to be beneficial? And so there's a couple of different things that I like to suggest. One thing that I try to do is I try to come up with either one or two things that are my focus for the year. I've talked about this a lot. It could be sales, it could be marketing, it could be lead generation, client acquisition, which is kind of the same thing as lead generation, workflows, systems, automation. Those different things can be your focus. And so what I try to do is I try to make a focus, and I make that determination before the year gets here. For me this year, one of my main focuses is automating more, but number one, my most important thing is really focused on content creation, like actually being present on social media, because that's one of those things that, as for me, I've looked at my last year, I've looked at just the recent couple of months, and I've realized that I am struggling so bad with the social media aspect and just not being present online. Now, obviously the trend has changed, and this is kind of what we were talking about earlier. The trend has changed, and we can't reach people the same as we used to. And it's also very different based on where you're reaching out to them. Now, obviously, if you look at those trends and you jump in and you identify those things, you can still see, like, are more people interacting on, Facebook or Instagram? And the other question is like, are you reaching your right target in that place or in those locations? So again, your goals, your KPIs, all those things are good things to really hone in on and identify. And for those of you who don't know, when I'm talking about KPIs, your key performance indicators, I didn't really hit on that, but what are your key performance indicators in your business? And those are the things that help us identify where we're going or whether or not we're getting to the right place. So a key performance indicator is not really how many sessions did I shoot this year. It's do I have good indicators that show that I'm going to actually grow with that? So it might be a reactive key performance indicator, but we want to avoid that. We want to avoid looking at it as, what did I do this year? And do I need to do more next year, or what can I do to be reactive or proactive? I'm sorry, for the upcoming year. So one of the things that I wanted to do with you is some of you guys are going to like this. This is just really an idea or a help factor. Some of you won't like it because what we're going to do is we're going to jump over here into Trello. And Trello is a great free resource. This is just kind of a simple way to build out something to help you maybe build a to-do list, way to keep track of your goals, how to break them down into quarters. And so what I did was I created a Trello board here. You guys can kind of flip through this if you want to pause the video when you have a chance and look at it. The idea here is just you're going to list it out and make it simple for yourself. And so right here, you could put your goals. Like, let's just say our goal is to do 200,000 in gross sales. Okay. So now let's say another one of our sessions is, or one of our goals is to do 75 sessions for the year. Okay. So what this does is it gives us a chance to, I just messed something up. Oops. It gives us a chance to really kind of identify, okay, what are our goals and how do we need to break them down into quarters? And so, you know, if we look at our $200,000 in gross sales, we know that in order to break that down, we're going to have basically $50,000 per quarter is our goal for our gross sales. Now, to be realistic about it, typically quarter 3 and quarter 4 as photographers are going to be some of our better times. And so we might actually say, you know, quarter 1 would be, say, $25,000 in gross sales. Let's see if I can do this right. And then we could say quarter 2 might be $25,000 in gross sales as well. And then quarter 3, oops, how did I move that over there? We're going to move that back. That's the cool thing about Trello is you can just grab these cards and move them. And then quarter 3, so now we're at 50,000. So that means that we've got to do 75,000 in, and honestly, quarter 3 is not as good, but it's still better. So let's go 65,000 for quarter 3. And then for quarter 4, we're going to go, oh, I'm going to make this hard on myself because I just made myself math again. Let's see. Annie, what's my math on this? I just lost my notes here. Okay, so 50 and 65, that's 115. So that would be 85,000 in gross sales. If I'm wrong on my math, you guys get the picture. And this is not, you know, this is all doable math as far as things go. So, but it gives you a goal and something that you can recognize or you can focus on, and you have it written down in one place that you can focus on these things. Now, for instance, as you go through and you create these goals, maybe you're going to say, well, I'm not being very realistic about the $200,000 in sales, and so maybe I need to adjust it, or maybe I need to increase it, and maybe the sessions, did I do and 5? I meant to do 65 sessions. Oops. Okay. So, but then in each one of these, you can actually come in here and put, you know, check marks or add time frames to them, do different things, but it just gives you some idea of what you're doing. Maybe we want to come in here and we want to make a label for it up here. And we just call this one like top priority. I don't know. I'm just using this as an example, but, and I didn't spell it right. That's fun. Whatever. You guys get the picture of it. And so then, as we were talking about earlier, identifying our successes and failures, and maybe we could do my sales or sales average. was good. And so we could do this and we could add this as a, so if we come in here to our labels, we could label these as like maybe a success. And maybe we add a red one as a failure. Okay. And so what we can do is we can make our list here and we can see our successes and failures. Let's see what's a failure. Social media posting. That was a huge failure for me. So Annie and Michelle will attest to that because they got their work done and I sucked at mine. And so we could put this one as a failure. And again, this is just giving us a visual reference for the things that we are setting as far as our goals, how we're breaking them down by quarter, what are the issues that we've resolved. So maybe we decide that, social media posting is one of the things we're going to work on, but throughout the year, we can move these things over here and show that we've created or that we have become successful or resolved those issues with that. Now, another thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to show you this section over here, which is the right here, the systems, this one right here. And so without a system for how you're going to overcome any of these challenges, or even if you want to create a new process for the year, and maybe it is in your social media posting, what is your system for that? And so what I've done is I've created, this is just kind of a free resource that anybody can use. I'm going to actually grab mine so that I can kind of show you exactly what it is. No, that's not the right one. Oh, okay, here it is. So this is actually a content system that I built for seniors that I'm working on. And so this would be a great resource for me to just kind of screenshot this and I can bring it over into my Trello. Hopefully you guys can all see this as I'm doing it. And I can do social media posting and I can create the card there. And let's scroll back over and I can actually add the screenshot. That's the wrong one. That was a fun picture, huh? Let's go to desktop, screenshots, and let's just add it in there. And so as you can see, this kind of gives me just a quick diagram that I can click on and I can go look at my system. I can build it out. And what I was trying to show you of that is in Canva, if you come into Canva and you create a new design and you select whiteboard, this gives you an opportunity to create and build a workflow diagram. And so you can actually bring a workflow diagram over here, just kind of like what I did. I actually just make my own and I just put a title on it. So we've talked about the customer journey many times. And so this is a great one to add in here just to kind of see where you want to be at with your customer journey. And so we have 6 stages in the customer journey. And so what we can do is we can just do kind of like a square. We could call it, let's go to a different color because that's going to kill me. And maybe, so there's our, let's just call this before or leads. So this would be like your lead. This might be your booking state, or well, I guess that'd kind of all be part of that. Oh, that went behind it, didn't it? So maybe this one we're going to call. What are our stages before I mess this all up? Okay, so first one is actually called the pre-session. So this is all the things that might happen before you schedule the session. And this one could be the session day. And this one, oops. How did I do that earlier? This one could be our layer, bring forward, post session. Oops, that didn't work. Oh dear. So the point is that all you're doing is you're just laying these out so that you can see what your process is, or what your workflow is, and that's kind of the goal here. Again, that's just through, it's a free version of Canva. I do have the pro version, but you can use a free version of Canva, and you just, when you create it, you come in here to create design and you select whiteboard. And so again, the goal here is just to give you an option that makes it easy for you to determine like what is your outline for your systems. And when you have that outline, you can add it into your Trello cards, and you can have some reference for what you want to do with your customer journey, or maybe it's your campaigns, because that's actually what we're going to talk about here next. But that kind of gives you some idea how you can use Trello for free. I know not everybody wants to get into a new program, and that's totally understandable. So if you have something that works with that, like MindNode or something like that, those are all great resources. Use what you have and use what you're comfortable with, or just take a piece of paper and draw it out. But make sure that it's something that's easy and accessible for you so that you can get in and work with those things easily. So the next thing is really the operational excellence, kind of the innovation aspect of your business. What can you do to improve those processes? Well, first of all, like I was saying, is map it out. And when you have it mapped out, then you have a good idea of what works. You can look at where there might be bottlenecks in that, what you can do to increase or decrease certain things, to improve things and whatnot. So then what I want you to do from that point is identify the things that you can automate. So for instance, in my customer journey, there are a lot of things in the customer journey that can be automated, like the email systems and those different things. And so look at those things and determine what can you automate, because guys, believe it or not, everything is really moving that direction. So if you're not on board with it, you're going to get left behind when it comes to automation. And there's going to be a lot of people out there that are just doing business faster and better than you. And when I say better, I'm just talking about the fact that they're operating their businesses at a more efficient rate than you might be. Doesn't mean that they're a better photographer than you, because let's face it, there's a lot of us that are not better photographers. We're just better at the business aspect. And so then really kind of there was kind of like sharing the insights from, when you take your, maybe take the processes that you build out and look at them. Are they last year's processes? Are they, and that's a great way, if you start with that, kind of build out what the process is that you do. And sometimes it's helpful just to build it out to see what you're currently doing, and then adjust it for what you can do to improve that process in the upcoming year. And so those are things that a lot of people, like, you just don't think about them. And believe it or not, having them documented is so powerful in the ability to see, okay, like, I understand where I'm going wrong here. I understand what I can do to improve those things. So now the next thing about planning for next year is determining what your effective marketing is going to be. And so this can be a lot of different things, and you can really make this simple, but look at like the different seasons of the year, the different things that you can do for marketing as far as or campaigns. Like, what different campaigns can you run for the year? And maybe just pick 3 to 5 pillars as far as the campaigns that you want to focus on, but then kind of plan them out. One of the things I'm doing is I'm actually going to be a vendor at Sync this year for Leads Pro. And so I'm developing a couple of different campaigns, and the campaign doesn't have to be a Facebook ad, or it doesn't have to be, it's just a couple of different campaigns on how I'm going to do as much as I can to make people aware of me and Leads Pro. And so those different campaigns can be something as simple as like a sticker campaign that gives people an opportunity to become a lead in your system, or maybe it is a Facebook ads campaign, or maybe it's a campaign that you run every year that starts at a specific time, or maybe you repeat it regularly. And so really just kind of diagramming those things again with a workflow or a system through something like Canva is a great way to see, okay, this is how long I need to get it set up. This is how much time I need to promote it. And then this is when it needs to run. And so those are good things to understand. I've never been great about that, but I understand it, and I've recognized that it's something that I have to become better at, because ultimately it's hurting me. And it just hurts yourself in your business if you don't have some good understanding of that. But if you can plan it out at the beginning of the year or before the start of the year, that, hey, these are going to be the 3 things that I'm going to focus on this year as far as my pillars of, and I'm using the word pillars kind of like the whole content or social media pillars, but I'm talking about really kind of just pillars that you can use to focus on specific campaigns for your business. And I know for like Annie, she does her empowered women, or sorry, I'm going to mess it up right now just because I'm in my head here. But, there's the Beautifully You campaigns. There's all sorts of different things, but just identify what they are and maybe create a workflow or a process for how you're going to run it, whether it be from the start, the planning, the advertising for it, those different things, and have a plan for how you're going to do those things, because it will help you with all of your goals and planning for the upcoming year. Now, last but not least, this one's kind of funny because this one is so not me, but I want you to focus or make sure that you have your personal goals, and that you're planning. My wife is going to love this one because I'm pretty sure she's on here. Your work-life balance. Right now, I have very little work-life balance. All I've been doing is working. But if you don't plan it, it probably won't happen. You'll find points in your year that become overwhelming, or that your kids make comments and your family makes comments about you're working too much, or you're not working enough. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're fishing too much, Sam. But ultimately, identifying, like maybe setting those goals and determining what your work-life balance is. Maybe it's not taking your laptop home or working from home. Maybe it's not certain things. Maybe it is. Maybe it's working at the office a little bit less and working from home a little bit more so that you can spend more time with your family. Or ultimately just planning out what your work-life balance is. That can be as simple as saying, okay, I am not going to work weekends anymore. I'm only going to work these days. One of the best things I think we ever did for our business was stop working weekends. Another one of the best things we ever did for our business was to eliminate or to change our shoot days to Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. It's been incredibly beneficial for my business, and it just gives me so much more peace of mind and just comfort in what I do. And so then ultimately setting your personal goals and your personal development. Sometimes that can be part of your business. Maybe it's taking the time to do personal shoots. That's one thing I've talked about year after year. I never do it. I just get overwhelmed with the amount that we do shoot, or the amount of work that comes from additional sessions. That's why I typically, when I go to like workshops, not really workshops, but like when I go to conventions and stuff, I don't like to take my camera. I don't like to shoot at those things, because ultimately it just creates more work for me, for Michelle, for my business. And I have a lot of other things going on that I want to spend my time doing. And so I don't do those. But those things could be beneficial to helping me kind of improve my my own personal mental wherewithal when it comes to business, not feeling overwhelmed or burnt out. That happens a lot for photographers. And so planning those things out, just having an idea of what are those things going to be. It helps a lot more in your calendaring when you understand what days or what your schedule or your kind of the outline of how you want to run your business works. Sorry, Women Entrepreneur of Idaho. That I knew that's what it was, but I just needed the words. And so if you understand that, hey, Mondays are my days that, like, pretty much now Mondays have become my kind of work in the office content coaching days. They're Mondays and Fridays. Whereas Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are very much my shoot days, and Fridays are kind of my admin days where we kind of clean up a lot of what we've done for the week. We make up for shoots. We do all those different things. And having that defined is so incredibly powerful for me, because when people call and they want to book or something, it makes it so much easier for me to just pick a date because it fits within a certain criteria. Or when I'm building calendars out, I build them out with those specifics, because then that way I understand that when I'm setting different things for different businesses, or whether it's different businesses or different genres of your business, like whether it be headshots or families and different things like that, then those are all defined. And so it makes it easier for me to be able to be more efficient when I'm setting these things up. So that is pretty much all of it. Really, again, kind of to give you a good conclusion for this, do the BES score. Figure out what your BES score is and what areas you need to improve in your business. Use that for setting your goals. Figure out how to set your goals and break them down based on quarter, so that you have a more efficient process. Make sure that you have systems and workflows planned out and documented for when you are working with them for the next year, and make it something that you can refer back to easily. Document it in Trello. I love Trello just specifically for the to-do list, because it's something I try to get in every morning and look at that, see the things that I need to do. It's easy to add a to-do item to, and a lot of times you can even just tell your phone to do it. But put it somewhere you can see it every day. You guys have probably heard the story before. I used to have a vinyl cutter, so I'd cut out my goals and stuff and put them up on the wall. And I had 3 different pillars. I had my personal, and then I had my business, and then I had, I think, another business. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was CIC Pro Labs, my Samuel Marvin Photography, and then my personal. And Michelle always gave me crap about it because I misspelled the word writing, and so it said goals and writing are just dreams. I can't remember the quote. Today, if you noticed my email that went out, the thumbnail that was sent out, I spelled planning wrong. I'm a dork, but anyway. I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys get something out of it, or take the time to really take the next 2-3 weeks of the year and just focus on what can you do with your goals. Just writing them down and looking at them and determining what is beneficial or what is realistic. How can you make your goals smart? What can you do to break them down and to make them actually measurable is all valuable stuff, and it will help you in your business. So get it done. It will help a lot. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you get a chance and you want to come over and check out some of Leads Pro, we'll be in the Leads Pro open office on Zoom, which is in the 7-Figure Photographer Facebook group. There's a link to it. If you want a demo, if you want to learn about it, if you have support that you need, I will be in there. And so come check it out. Goals and writing are dreams with a deadline. That's what it was that I messed up. And so I've never put it up again because Michelle teases me about it mercilessly. So peace out.